beyond Reaper's Underground. We hope you survive.
What is up, my demons? That's right. It is time. Finally, the very first edition of Reaper's Underground for November. And what a way to kick it off. I have a wonderful, wonderful actor, now director, author, and pro wrestler with us tonight by the name of Ronnie Angel. And I'm sure you've seen him in quite a few different films, including the upcoming Clown Motel 3. So definitely let's make sure that we are sharing this out. Anywhere and everywhere that there is a horror lover and pro wrestling lover as well. I don't give a shit. Wake up your auntie, your sister, your cousin, your mama. I don't give a shit. Make sure that we are sharing this out. And before we dive into this brilliant career, we're going to take a quick commercial break to our brothers over at Poison Valley Scareware. Check it out. That's right. If you're looking for the best in custom-made horrorware, definitely check out David over at Poison Valley Scareware.com and on Facebook and get yourself an awesome t-shirt, hoodie, beanie. I don't give a shit what you like. He's got it. It's at an affordable price, fast shipping. You're going to love it. All right. So welcome, Aaron, and everybody else that's coming in right now. I know we're an hour before we normally go, but there was a conflict this evening. So you get the big bad devil daddy early. All right. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, man. I'm doing great here. Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. Hey, what's up, Cody? Make sure you're sharing this shit out anywhere and everywhere. You know what to do.
Everywhere.
Man. So we became Facebook friends recently, and then I started looking through your stuff, and you were looking through my stuff, and you reached out to me, and I was like, well, shit, yeah, man. Especially since we have a lot of people in common. I mean, the indie horror community is fucking small. Everybody almost knows everybody, and you know, on this big rock of ours.
Oh yeah.
As a matter of fact, I guess you were at a con that my wife was at in California.
Which one?
I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was an outside con. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah,
Mischief.
Was that the one with
Will Russell was there. You came up with I think Dave Bailey.
Yes, that was God, what the hell is the name of that one? But yes, it was outside, and it was pretty windy there too.
I believe it. I heard it was hot as Satan's nutsack.
That too, yes.
So yeah, and like I said, I started digging deep into your career there, and I mean, you've been a busy bee. You wear almost as many fucking hats that I do.
Yep.
And that's kind of what actors nowadays, especially on the independent circuit, should always be doing a lot of stuff.
Oh, always, man.
roles come and go, but damn it, we have to have other creative outlets. And let's see, you have a fucking book. Hey, the great director Morgan Wellburn is with us from the upcoming Circus Satanicus. Yeah, 3 books, and you moonlight as an ass kicker in the squared circle, which I mean, who the fuck doesn't love that?
Man, I've been doing that since 2004 too, so I'm one of the old
guys.
It's
been a long time. You're a fucking lifer, man. That's badass. I love it.
Yeah.
So, did that come first for you? Did the professional wrestling come first, or did acting come first?
Yeah. It was definitely the professional wrestling first. And man, like I said, that started back in 2004. Holy shit, I've been doing that a long time.
Yeah, time flies when you're kicking asses.
Yeah. Oh, I see you pulled up the picture from the other night.
Oh, of course, man. Gotta show everybody you in action.
Oh, yeah, that's me in Alberta a couple weeks ago.
That's right, man.
Man, that was a rough match, too. Like,
was it?
We both got backstage, and I looked at my opponent. I'm just like, holy shit, did I do that? You know, his chest is all beat red, and he's just like, yeah, you should look in the mirror, too. And I have it all over my chest, too. I'm like, holy shit. We beat the fuck out of each other.
Get hurt, you know. I always call bullshit on that. I've been calling bullshit on that since I was a kid watching fucking Hulk Hogan and The Undertaker.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
What were some of your
inspirations?
Awesome. I was going to say, like, who were some of the pro wrestling stars that kind of made you go, I want to do this?
Oh man. For me, probably my favorite ones were like Rick Rude, Rick Martel, Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. I just always was drawn to the bad guys, and like
we all were, man. They were the They were the flashiest and the most devious. I mean, occasionally there's that one face or hero that comes out, and then we feel like we can get behind them. That's why I love Sting so much, because you just never kind of knew which side he was on. One minute he could be bad, the next minute he's a face again. That's same with Ric Flair. I mean, who the hell didn't love the Nature Boy?
Oh yeah. And it's so funny because my brother, he's not in the business at all. He's a U.S. Marshal, but
he
sent me a video a few months ago, and he's like, "You'll never believe who I'm drinking with right now." And he sent me the video, and it was Ric Flair, and he was shit faced. And from the story that I heard, is that him and Rick ended up drinking well until after last call. Like they wouldn't even shut down the bar because
it's fucking Ric Flair. That's why.
Yeah. Plus they get huge tips just from serving him. And
of course they do.
Yeah,
shit. Guy's rich.
My brother said it's hard to keep up.
And he's like 70 some years old, like reaching 80. How is this man still alive?
Exactly.
I mean, I like to partake of the devil's nectar, obviously, but I'm not a career drunk, and this guy's been going hard for 40 fucking years, man. And I heard that he stepped back into the ring for a second, but he was so fucking trashed and was still able to wrestle the match and do the finish. And I'm just sitting here going, dude, you just want to die in the ring, don't you? My goodness.
I think so,
cool, man. Yeah, most definitely. So, what was the first promotion that gave you a shot?
Yeah. I had a few different ones. When I first started, it's the funniest and dumbest story ever. Like how I got started. It was my mom. She was working at a bank, and this is after high school. I moved back, and she's like, "Hey, are you still in the wrestling? I'm like, well, yeah, I always have been. And she said, hey, do you want to train to be a wrestler? One of my clients is one. So I said, yeah, sure. Why the hell not? And that's the story. That's the story of my life, actually. Somebody asked me to do something. I'm like, sure. Why the hell not? Like writing, acting, movies. That's how it all went down.
Just kind of fell into it. Yeah. And I had Clifton Taylor on who was also a fellow brother and actor and pro wrestler himself. And that's kind of how, he said it too. It's like all of our stories are kind of very similar. It's like one thing turns into another. And, we're doing all these things. Like for me, it was 30 years of death metal and doom metal drumming professionally, nice. And then retiring from that, going into podcasting. And then that led to me becoming an actor, and that's led me into horror modeling. It's like all these little connections, so many people are like, oh, I have to have all these followers and this and that. I'm like, no, you just have to be active. You need to be following your passions. So, that's awesome. So what was your first match like?
It was interesting because I wasn't quite sure if I was ready yet physically, but the thing that about me is I was better on the mic than anything. So I got some opportunities that a lot of the guys didn't get. Mm-hmm. And they're pretty much just like, oh yeah, get him in front of a mic and he's just going to go off. So when I first started wrestling, our original trainer, like, this guy was fucking sadistic.
They usually are, like Stu Hart.
Oh yeah. This guy, he wrestled in the Bay Area for years, and then he moved up to our tiny little village in Washington, Wenatchee. And when I first started training with them, I remember rolling up. I'm just like, where's the ring? And he's like, ring? You boys don't get rings here. You got to earn a ring. Like, I've got these pallets out here, though. You're going to start bumping on them. They'll make you kids tough.
Oh, yeah. So, he was really old school.
Yeah. And the closest rings were in Portland. So that was like a 6-hour drive one way. And like, that's when we finally got our ring time in. So it was kind of a brutal beginning, honestly.
Sure.
But yeah, I stuck it out. And then my first match, it was I trained long enough and I was pretty confident in it. But there was the one in Portland, though. We were going back and forth between the home base there. We did a few shows there, but it was mainly in Portland that I wrestled. And I remember in front of that first match, I was literally like, right backstage. I was like, I don't think I could do this, guys. I don't think I could do this. I don't know, terrified is maybe a good way to put it. But I went out there and I did it, and it went great. And then I got backstage and it just kind of went away. Like, it was definitely an interesting start for me. And like I said, they're like, yeah, put him in on a microphone and he's going to piss off people. So that's my specialty, man. When people ask me like, oh, do you win a lot, or do you win or lose? And I'm like, it doesn't matter, because you don't get it. Like,
that's not the caveat.
Yeah, with me especially, my job is to go out and piss off people, and then a lot of times they want to see me get my ass kicked. So that's basically what I do. There was oh god, man, we did one last year, I believe it was, and this is not usual at all. This is right by the border, and somebody actually punched me in the match.
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. I went out of my way to be like, well, this is a bar show. I can say whatever I want.
Pretty much.
And I think maybe I crossed over that line. But then the guy that I was wrestling, he's like, he wanted to fight through the crowd.
There you go.
And I'm just like, these people were just throwing garbage at me and yelling at me like they are legit pissed at me.
And then, well, that's how you know you want them over.
Yeah. So we were out there, and I kept trying to get the match back in the ring. And he was like, afterwards, he said, "What the fuck was going on with that? Like, why were you trying to get us in the ring?" I'm like, because for the entire show leading up to that, you were yelling at people for fighting on the outside. So that's what I was going off of. And he's like, "Oh, no. I meant them. Me and you, we're going to fight on the outside for the main event." And I was like, shouldn't you convey that to me somehow?
You're supposed to.
Yeah. And
it's like a safe word.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing.
And you can't really talk while you're like in the crowd, right?
No, not really.
So it's just going off the feel, and I'm just like, okay, he just hit me with something. He's over there with the crowd. I got two choices. Do I let him hit me again, or do I hit him back? And yeah, we were doing stuff like that, and that was when I threw him in the other direction, and I just kind of like leaned against the bar for a second, and somebody just punched me right in the side of the face. I was like, what the fuck? They hit me hard too. And I turned, I was like, who the fuck did that? Like, nobody was owning up to it or anything.
Of course.
It's just, what was that?
I said, of course not.
Yeah. So
people today are like hit and run. They don't want to be known to be hitting, but they want to be, the one throwing the punch.
Oh yeah. And speaking of like being on the mic, I go far with that. Like a lot of times things just happen when I'm out there.
Well, you're making shit up on the spot. You are constantly inventing, reinventing, lines, catchphrases, literally on the spot. And, you it's like a stand-up comedian picks out shit from the crowd a lot of times, to try to like pull into the act. So, I mean, talk about improvisation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I did one not too long ago. She might have been a year by this point. I don't know, too many chair shots to the head. But there was this guy who just kept like holding a rubber chicken out in the aisleway and squeaking it. And I remember I was leaving the ring, and he has this stupid chicken that he like puts right in front of my face. And it was one of those reactions where you don't even think about it. Yeah, that's what I did. It was in my face, and I was just like, get that the fuck out of my face. And I smacked it away. And when I get back to the locker room, I have all these messages on my phone. They're like, do you realize how hard you hit that lady? Wait, what lady? What are you talking about? And somebody showed me some of the footage is this old lady that was sitting in the crowd. And when I smacked the chicken, it went right into her face. It knocked her glasses off. And I was just like, oh, shit. I didn't mean to do that.
If you're, fans, hey, Paul Nada in the house. All these wonderful directors and actors showing up today.
Nice.
But seriously, though, if you are sitting that close, you're going to take some shrapnel. At a wrestling show. I mean, that's just it. Sometimes fans like to throw their cups at wrestlers. They like to throw whatever they got in their hands. It could be a fucking hot dog for all we know. It's like, I
haven't had that one yet.
Well, thank fuck, because that would be really weird. Hey, well, what happened last night? Oh, I got hit by a wiener.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that shit. So
and I'm always doing something different, like
you have to.
Yeah. Like one of them, I was one of my first matches up in British Columbia years ago, and I had because I have the greaser gimmick, with the hair and everything, and I was using the old school like Burl cream, and I still had a bunch in my hands. I'm like, oh God, I think I know what I'm going to do when I go out there. And I went out to the ring, and I was like in the aisle, I was slapping the hands and everything, but I was wiping off this Burl cream on their hands, and they were looking at it like they couldn't believe what I just did.
I love it.
Oh man, we were the kings of dumb shit. Me and my tag partner, Danny Nightmare, we were doing something stupid every time.
That's awesome though.
Yeah. It could fill a book, seriously, the dumb shit that we did when we were out there. But
well, you have to up the ante, I think, because so many people are watching WWE, AEW, and NXT, all that bullshit. So you got to give them something different, and the Attitude Era has been over for a long time. Which, damn it, I wish it was still around.
Oh, same.
It was the best, and on this level, I think you guys can get away with a lot of stuff that you can't get away with on TV when it's televised. So coming up with cool shit like that, I love to hear that. I love to hear it.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, we had before I had my knee surgery in 2014, I'd spent almost the last 5 years before that exclusively wrestling in Canada.
Oh, wow. That's awesome though.
Yeah, I caught on up there and just made a lot of good connections. So So I was able to at least go up there and make a name for myself. And of course, me and my partner being the All-Americans, we really milked that for all that we could. We were called the AAA, the All-American Ass Kickers.
AAA.
Yeah.
Love it. Show them French Canadians what it's all about.
Yeah. But one of the funniest things is a gag that I used a bunch of times where I would go out to the ring and I would say that I am King Obama's personal favorite wrestler and I have full diplomatic immunity. So if I want to, I could go out there and literally kill one of you and get away with it. See, I've got it right here. I would pull it out from my pocket and I would kind of show it to them. And it was so stupid. I was like, I still crack up over this. I was like, yeah, this is written in his own blood. See, that's why it's black.
Well, no wonder people loved you up there, man. You were fucking just a game changer. That is so funny.
Yeah, I loved. That's my favorite part, just getting those reactions. And
Canadian, there's nothing like, not saying anything against the United States. I mean, obviously, American wrestling fans love wrestling. They're passionate, deeply passionate. People all the way up into my age and beyond are still watching. But there's nothing like Canadian fans. And if you can win them over, because, the Hart Foundation, all those legends from Canada, Triple H, you name it, they're so hard to win over because you're not from there. And for you to do that with your tag team partner, I think that's badass. So
yeah, one of my last matches up there, it was in Edmonton, and I got to work Matt Hart, who is one of the third generation Harts. He's Brett's nephew. Yeah. Really cool guy, really easy to work with. But I told him something like, yeah, man, I'm gonna talk shit about your family. So just like we can't have a normal match. We can't just lock up. So just come out there swinging, man. And I didn't even get to the point. I think I was basically like, oh yeah, and you have these heroes up here that you call the Hart family, apparently. And by the time I started doing it, like he was already running out to the ring. I'm like, okay, this is going to be a pretty quick start to the match then.
Right? You know, if
Yeah.
he's just coming full swing, it's on the moment he hits that fucking ring.
Oh yeah.
I can remember a lot of classic matches that kind of started that way, with the opponent running to the ring because they've been it's been hyped up for months and months and months, and you know, whatever the storyline is, and you know, you're just constantly trying to up the ante, and then explode. So that's a really cool way,
Yeah,
you know, to start the match.
Well, it's funny because you're asking me too about like where it all started, and it definitely started in pro wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was I originally had like really long hair, and then like
me too, if you can believe it.
yeah. So I changed it up. I don't know what prompted me to do it. I just like cut all my hair, took all my piercings out, and my trainer Damian Michaels was just like, "Oh, great! You fucked up your character before you even started. You killed your career." And then
that's the best, ain't it?
Yeah. And then eventually he came around and he's like, "Yeah, actually you look like one of those greaser guys from the 50s. Can you pull that off?" I'm like, fuck, man. I still watch like the Outsiders and the Wanderers, and sometimes they come back all the time. And I was like, I know I could pull that off. Yeah. So I got the leather jacket and everything, and then that's where the name Ronnie Angel comes from. So
okay, nice.
Yeah.
Little origin.
I've taken that name and ran with it.
You know, and it's kind of funny you say that, because it's like, you know, I wonder what people would do if, you know, Reaper, the Lord of Darkness, was to shave his goat off, the signature goat. What would that look like? You know, I think, it was my wife who actually teased me about that too. She's like, I had a dream you shaved it off. And I'm like,
hey man, do it at a wrestling show.
I would never
make
do
them
that.
pay for it.
I mean, I lost my hair when I was 19. I'm going to be 48 this month. So I haven't had anything but facial hair. It's like, this is the only thing I have.
Oh,
I can't lose that.
I feel that so much. I just turned 40 myself.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I've made it this far, man.
Exactly. But the thing is, though, I still feel like I'm in my 30s. So, you know, I can't really complain about that, even though I'm almost, you know, half a century. But it's all about how you take care of yourself, your state of mind. I can't stress that enough. That state of mind really does make the biggest difference as we move forward, you know, into our years and what we're doing. So I can definitely see that. I mean, you know, you're still far from, you know, slowing down as far as wrestling is concerned, but it seems like your acting career is also kind of intertwined as you're going through both of these journeys. So at what point did somebody kind of come out and say, hey, you know, what is it? Dustin Ferguson. Well, when did he say, you know, hey, I could use you, man? Because what's really interesting about your career, and I love this because it's so diverse. And that's kind of what I've been trying to do with myself as well, because I'm a creature actor, but I'm also doing, you know, actual speaking roles and shit now, different subgenres within the genre, as it were. Is that, you know, you'll do anything from action to sci-fi, you know, to horror. It's like you're doing all those different things. I think that's badass, because you have that wrestling background, so you can do, you know, you're marketable, man. You can do a lot of those stunts.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're kind of like Bruce Campbell style, anything to get the shot and make it believable. Was 100%. Horror your first pick, or, you know, like I said, how did you get into the acting end of things?
Well, it's kind of funny how that one happened. because for years I had heard people say, "Hey, you should try acting. You got a great voice, you got a look." And so I was like, after
And
so many years
stature.
of it,
All of us big guys are always looked at. They're like, oh, big guys. They're not twigs.
oh yeah. And eventually, I wrote the books, the first two anyways, and I became friends with this actor, Travis McKenna. Ah, there it is. He, a lot of people might recognize him from Roadhouse.
Yeah.
He was in a scene. He's one of the main guys there, where him and Patrick Swayze take on like 10 guys in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Epic battle.
Yeah. So I became friends with him, and he was telling me that I was going through kind of a rough patch in Washington, but he said I should come down here and try out acting. So I did.
Why the fuck
and
not?
Dustin Ferguson that you mentioned, he was the first guy who like I became friends with once I moved here. And he just started putting me in some of his movies, some of his shorts, and then it just kind of rolled from there. Like it's exactly like the world of wrestling in that there you go, that's one of them. Yeah. with wrestling for me anyways, I don't know if it's really typical, but I always tell people, like, you do a show in Portland and there's a guy from Seattle there. Hey, do you want to come work for me? Cool. You work in Seattle, run into a guy from Vancouver, BC. Hey, do you want to come work for us? And it rolls like that. And doing the acting was the exact same thing, where I would just run into people and they would offer me different roles and things like that. So I've done a bunch. I think I've done like 40 or 50 since
it's about
2018.
It's definitely close to that. I mean, you've done a lot of different roles, lots of film. If I remember correctly, let me pull it up here. We're almost there. I think you've done some TV work as well.
Yes.
So, which is something I'm doing right now, as a lot of people know that I play Xander Smith on The Red Huntress.
Cool.
Yeah, you've definitely been on a few different TV shows as well, podcast shows. And that's what it takes. That's what keeps you out there. That's what keeps people. Somebody new discovers you. And it's like, hey, I saw you on this, and I think you would be great for what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've had
what
that
was
happen.
Go ahead.
Too.
Nice.
Well, I was gonna say that I went on a game show a while back. It was the 1% Club.
Yep.
Patton Oswalt. And
he's one of my favorite comics. I love that dry song.
He seemed like such a nice guy in person too.
I totally believe it.
I was kind of up in the corner, like away from the camera, like you didn't see me a lot. And so I watched that episode, and the real fucked up part about it is that they did give me a very nice close-up when I lost.
Oh, come on. I bet you they were hoping you'd have this agonizing look on your face.
Yeah, literally. This is what was on camera. I was like, that's it.
And I think that's the most appropriate response, instead of going,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Just put your head down for a second, be like, damn it. But hey, I had fun.
Yeah. It was fun, but it was one of those situations where, like, that you fucked up, but you can't go back and do anything about it. So you would just have to sit there, because you answer these different questions. It's like multiple choice. And we came to this one round. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, oh, I know this. Submit. And then as soon as I did that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Oh, no. Can I go back? I can't do anything. Just have to wait till the timer goes out. Yeah,
Right.
that kind of sucked.
What was it like stepping onto your first set on a feature film? I know you said you did like a couple of shorts and things, but like, what was your first feature film?
The first feature film, let me think. I did a lot of the Dustin Ferguson ones,
Right.
and he's very self-sufficient.
Mhm.
Like he'll do the movies like Skeleton Crew, if that. Sometimes it's just
Right.
like, hey,
Yes.
come over and
He's
let's film
amazing.
something. Yeah. So, I mean, that was like an easy introduction to it. And then going out on the bigger sets, like on the indie level, it's like, okay, now you've got like the sound guy and this guy and all the different crew, but still it's not like a massive production. But
Mhm.
then when you go to one of the shows that I've done, and then it's just I did one. It's called The Verdict with Judge Hatchett. Yeah, it's a court show, and I was suing this girl, and it's kind of funny. I thought those shows were real, but no.
Nope.
But we got the producer
That
came
takes a lot
backstage,
of
and
acting skill for that.
oh yeah. Well, the producer came backstage and he's like, "Okay, do you know what you guys are gonna do?" And I said, "This bitch right here." I stood up and I was like, and she's like, "Hey, motherfucker!" We're yelling at each other in the dressing room, and he goes like, "Okay, you got it, you got it."
You guys got it. This is gonna
Yeah,
be magic.
but the best part about that was that right before they opened the courtroom doors, that they said, "Oh, by the way, there are no second takes. There's no messing up. The
Nope.
crowd thinks this is real."
Right?
So,
It's the biggest
eh,
fucking dupe known to man.
yeah, yeah. So we went out there and we did it, and the this was the greatest thing ever. We're there, we're ready to go, and the judge comes out, and she's saying something like, "Yeah, I don't understand you young kids today. Like, why do you have to bring your personal problems out in front of the whole world to see?
Right?
Why can't you just handle this in your homes? You don't need to go." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And she says, "You're getting a divorce, right?" I'm like, "No, I'm suing her." And she starts like flipping through the pages. She's like, oh,
Oh, she didn't know the
um,
fucking script.
yeah. And she was like, "I'll be right back." And she runs out, and the producer comes in, and I'm like, looking at the girl, I'm just like,
Mhm.
wow, that was actually really funny. And then we find out, oh no, she really did screw up. That's not part of the
Yep.
show.
Right?
And I was sitting there like, she should roll with this because it looks real.
Right,
It is
right.
real. But
Uh,
yeah,
that's awesome. Um,
yeah. So yeah,
Tell us a
different
little bit
levels.
about this one.
Oh yeah, Mega Ape. I was on the scene with Tom Sizemore.
Damn.
Yeah,
Had to bring that
I
one up because I fucking love Tom Sizemore. I always have.
yeah, and from what I got, like, yeah, he was still deep in his issues at the time. Um,
Mhm.
kept constantly like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom, like over and over and over. And but yeah, like you knew something was going on.
Right?
And the one thing that was interesting though was that he would want to like see the camera after a certain take. And
Mhm.
he'd go and he'd sit with the director and he'd kind of look at it and he's like, no, I think that maybe I should do this instead, or maybe you could point it in this direction. So
Mhm.
he had his issues for sure, but also he seemed professional at the same time. Or if that
Which
makes
is,
sense.
yeah, it's kind of like, so is this his issues coming through, or is this kind of brilliance at the same time? Just, having that know-how, that forthright, third eye, if you will, about what looks convincing on camera, what is going to make it that much better.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, that was really cool getting to see him. And I ran into him a few more times after that. And he always seemed like a nice guy to me. So, yeah, it's kind of sad when I heard the
At
news.
least he wasn't a dick.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty much. But yeah, that was fun. That was fun working on that one with him.
Nice. And then there's this one that I definitely want to check out because I just think this one looks so much fun. It's
yeah.
Wisdom from the Apocalypse.
What was funny about that one is they told us that we're filming out in California City, which is like literally, if you could find the middle of nowhere, it's California City. Yeah. It's like,
there is such a thing in California. Okay.
yeah. It's like maybe 2 hours north into the desert. And then we had to drive out to a certain area in the middle of the desert. And we stopped. They're just like, oh, yeah, just pull over right here. And you see all the cars parked there. And I took a video of surrounding me. There's nothing for miles and miles. And they
sounds like New Mexico, actually.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And they came and picked us up and they took us out there. It's like this junkyard in the middle of nowhere, not even on the main road. And I was sitting there. I was a little bit concerned, honestly, because, it's this junkyard and then we've got like strange people wandering around. So, yeah. I was like, am I going to get murdered out here?
Can dig a lot of holes.
That's true. Yep. And that was it was a fun shoot though. It turned out fun and did a lot of improvising, which is what
that's
I've always said. What's that?
I said that's kind of your forte. You're used to being flexible when it comes to that. So
yeah. And a lot of times that's been my motto, like, hey, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna throw something out there. If you like it, cool. Use it. It works. If you don't like it, just tell me to shut the fuck up. And I'll just go with, what you have for me.
Now, is it something that you kind of like prefer to be able to have a little bit of liberty, with your character, or do you kind of prefer a script? So many people are different. Like I get so many different, answers to that.
Yeah. I personally like that flexibility, being able to do things like that on the fly. And I did one. I had lots of scenes actually with Brink Stevens a few months ago, and she was like, "Hey, when you say this line, would you mind if I do this?" And I'm like, "I am all for that. Like, tell me what I can do to be a bigger douchebag."
Right.
And she is like, "Oh," she gives me a water. And she's like, "Okay, when you're coming up the steps to my house, just do something." And I was like, "Okay." So I just we were going up there, and I finished my water, and I just chuck it over my shoulder into her lawn. And
I love it.
So it's like wrestling, you just improvise.
Kinda, yeah.
See what happens.
Now, do you feel like you get a lot of roles playing the asshole, or do you feel like you're getting a lot of diversity? Because so many of us, I know quite a few different actors in indie horror that are constantly getting They automatically, if there's an asshole role, that's who the directors go for. Do you feel like that happens to you a lot?
Yeah, quite a bit, and I kind of prefer that. Like, I've played.
That's your comfort zone. I
Yeah,
am the ultimate dick.
yeah, exactly. Like I just have this attitude that comes across, and like it's more fun to, like, in wrestling, you be the douchebag, be the asshole. Um, I've been a cop lots of times.
Well, I mean,
Like,
they're all dickheads. So
what's that?
I said they're all dickheads, for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most
My
part.
brother's one.
Right?
Don't kill me. But yeah, yeah. Playing the cop a few times. I did one a while back, and it is supposed to be like reimagining of the old movie Eyes Without a Face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
So we were doing that, and we're investigating these murders. So I'm there with the detective, and like we're knock on this door, and it's a movie set, and they come up and say some stuff. But the detective, we kind of improvised a lot, and he's like, okay, they don't know why we're here. Let's just say that we're investigating something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the other actor opens the door, and the detective starts talking with him for a second. And there's me. And I'm just like, yeah, we're here. Sorry. Bleh. We're here for the murder of so and so. We're investigating this murder. And he's just like, and then we keep rolling though.
Yep.
And we keep going. And I keep saying that to everybody that comes up to the door, that we're investigating the murder of so and so. And he's just like, stop. So we go in. They're like, okay, fine. You're police. You got to investigate the scene, whatever. And we're still improvising. And before we walk in, he puts up his arm and he says, subtle. You need to be more subtle. Can you do that? I kind of push his arm away. I'm like, man, subtle is my middle name. All right. And then I turn. I'm like, all right, all you motherfuckers, you need to listen up right now. Like, he's just like this, like, oh God.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So it's always fun playing a cop too, because like I did one a while back where we're arresting this girl,
Mm-hmm.
and like in between takes, I'm kind of like whispering these things to her. I'm like, hey, really struggle with me. And she's like, okay. And we're in between takes again. I'm like, hey, say something about your rights. And she's like,
Yeah, right.
okay. So we're like dragging her away in handcuffs, and she's like, what about my rights? And I say, you have the right to shut the fuck up.
Which is, something that we literally would expect a cop to
Yeah.
say.
So again, even though I'm playing cops, I'm still playing an asshole. So it fits.
Right. Do you have any dream roles that you haven't played yet? A character, in a horror film, like, is there one that you haven't done yet that you would like to do?
Well, I've always said this, and not so much characters, but if I could just do, like some kind of a high profile sequel to something, like call it whatever, another Halloween, another Friday the 13th, another Saw movie. Like, if I could do something like that, then I could die the next day and be like, well, I led a good life. That's kind of the pinnacle for me.
We that's like me saying I want to be in Rob Zombie's next film, because that is like would be like this huge fucking thing, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, there's nothing wrong with shooting for the stars like that.
Oh yeah.
I know for me, I tend to go for roles that are not only comfortable, but they can be challenging in certain ways as well. So is there any challenges that you've had to overcome to do some of these roles?
Well, I did do a certain one, like I've had some of the ones where I don't know if you've ever had this called imposter syndrome, where you're kind of backstage and you're just kind of quiet and thinking to yourself, like, can I really pull this off? Like, I don't know. So you have kind of self-doubt, right?
Sure.
So yeah. Some of those have been challenges. A couple music videos that I did, and I'm just like, am I really right for this? Did they pick the right guy? So
too late now.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, you just kind of roll with it. But yeah, I think there's always challenges though.
Well, I think a lot of us behind the scenes know that this one here was rather difficult, especially being shot in Nevada. So,
Yeah.
what type of role did you land with this one, and what was that experience like? A lot of heavyweights on that one.
Oh yeah. And one of the cool ones is I've already known Ari Lehman for about 10 years or more. Always a cool guy.
Oh, he's cool as fuck.
Yeah. So yeah, I get to hang out with him. It was cool. We went to hold on just a second. Call you back. Okay. So yeah, it was out in the middle of the desert in Nevada. Like, we were staying in Boulder City or Henderson, I don't know, somewhere out there.
Somewhere around there.
We would have to drive out to this ghost town that was like literally the middle of nowhere. And like I was there for like 2 days. It is just kind of chaotic, honestly. I'm glad I did it, but also like didn't really get to do everything that I wanted to do as far as my role in the movie and everything. It was
now, were you a clown in this?
Yes.
Nice.
My name was Slaughter, and it's fun because like I'm one of the like, you call me a guard, I guess, guarding one of the prisoners, and then like Joe Castro did a great job on my makeup.
Oh,
like,
Joe is the fucking best. He is the best in business. That guy.
Great guy.
Love him. Sweet man.
Oh yeah, he did like a thing, kind of like the Burning, like where it looked like my flesh had melted and just like
sick.
Covered up an eye. And yeah. So I just wish that we would have been able to do more with that. I'm kind of holding out hope that maybe we could do some reshoots soon, so I can get more of the scenes in that I didn't get to do when I was there.
Yeah, that's what my wife was saying, because she was in part 2, and she was also in this one as well. So it seems like they're just, during that what was it? August. The August shoot, it just seemed like there's so much more to do. To really kind of put more of yourself into it. That'll be really cool.
Yeah. One of the things I remember the most about when I was filming out there was the ghost town was awesome, by the way. It was a really cool location. I liked wandering around and checking out things that probably shouldn't have been. But the snake wrangler, he came on the set and he set down a bucket. I was sitting in the barn talking to some people, and it said like danger, live rattlesnake, stuff like that along the side. And I hear rattling, like I hear really loud rattling. So I'm Like, is this one of those joke things? Like, when you're a kid and you have one of
Sure, you're
those, like,
hoping it was.
what was that?
I said, I'm sure you were hoping that it was.
Yeah. It's like one of those things when you're a kid where you like hear the rattling in here and then you investigate and it's like they set up this toy a certain way to sound like that. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's one of those things. And then I look in the top, I'm like, oh, no, it's not. It's a real live rattlesnake. And the guy was like, do you want to see her?
No.
Yeah. But it
It
was
can
like,
kill me, goddammit.
yeah, it was devenomized, but still.
Oh, well, that's good. At least.
He asked if I wanted to see it, and I'm like, yeah, sure. And he opened the lid, and this thing struck straight up. Like he was going for the guy. And I just kind of went like this. I'm like, I don't want to go anywhere near this thing anymore.
Well, when it moves faster than we do, I think that's when the fascination ends.
Yeah.
It's cool to see, but man, when you're up close and personal and that some bitch coming for you, fuck off.
Oh, yeah. And man,
Like
I have been bit by a snake before, and it's not fun.
No, not at all.
Yeah. I was in Zambia, and I had a snake bite me on the foot, and I literally thought I was going to die. But then the doctor, we got me in to see a medic, and he was just like, couldn't care less. He's like, all right, let me see. Okay. What would the snake look like? I told him. He's like, oh, it's something like a sand viper. You should be okay. Not too poisonous. I was like, okay. So it's poisonous, but not too poisonous. You might live. Yeah. So after that, I'm like, I don't want anything to do with snakes.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And I think that everyone that is absolutely in love with them, once they have that experience, I think that will change their point of view.
Oh, yeah.
So before we come to a close, man, we need to talk about your directorial debut. Let's talk a little bit about the current Indiegogo campaign for your first film as a director called After Midnight.
Yeah. I wrote that a few years ago, and we were supposed to film it last year, but then something happened with the actual place where we were going to film it. So we had to kind of push it on the back burner. And now I'm to the point where we're going to start in a couple weeks filming.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So it's pretty cool because it's a small production. There's only 3 main actors in it. There's skeleton crew, some cool locations, mainly one location though, when it comes down to it. And it's kind of like old school.
There's a lot of prolific films that have been based on that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's like old school. Like even when I was writing it, I was thinking, Stephen King said, write what scares you. So I just took all these thoughts and I just kind of put them together. And the basic story is that it's a couple of friends haven't seen each other in a few years, and one of them works campus security at the local college and found like this
of course he
does. Yeah. He found something that was like blocked off. He found this old book down there, and he wanted his friend to come back to town so that they could play this stupid game that he found. And it goes from bad to worse, and they have to like follow these rules. It's if you're familiar with this the story of the Midnight Man, that's basically what it is. And they invoke the spirit and demon or whatever and have to avoid it from 12 to 3. And the thing is like there's so many rules to it. Like you have to keep your candle lit if it goes out, and you have to relight it right away. If shit gets too heavy, you pour salt around you. There's just a lot of stuff that goes into that. And the way I wrote it is it gets worse as it goes along. Because the game can end if you flip off the light,
Right.
flip on the light. But like I wrote, there's a part where like one of our guys is just like sitting there reading, and then you see behind him the street light goes out, porch light, street light, porch light, going all the ways down the block. And then there's just a lot of things. There's this certain underlying dread to the entire thing. I actually met up with one of the actors the other night to go over some stuff, and he was telling me that it is one of the scariest scripts that he's ever read.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what he's saying. It's like this sense of dread throughout the entire thing, and it's like something is going to happen, but it just keeps going and going, and just gets worse and worse as it goes on. And that's what I want.
That's
I wanted
the way
to
we
do,
like it.
yeah. I wanted to do like old school horror that's actually scary, and it's very simple, but there's just like so many things that I wrote into it that anything bad that can happen will happen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And you guys can go to Indiegogo right now and check out the different perks. You can help support this film called After Midnight. So all you have to do is go to Indiegogo.com and put in the search bar After Midnight, and definitely check out all that they have to offer. And we definitely look forward to seeing your creation come to life. Being a gifted author, a gifted writer, I think, horror fans are always looking for something that is so legit, passionate, and people can really, kind of take a bite out of this thing. So definitely wish you all the success with this one. And on Reapers Underground, we will definitely, as your progress is going, we'll definitely repost any updates that you got coming on. And
awesome.
Yeah, definitely anything that we can do to help get the word out, because Indiegogo campaigns are not the easiest thing in the world to do, because you're asking people for money, but at the same token, you're offering them to be a part of your creation.
Yeah. So. And also, I just wanted to put this out there that my third book, Death in the Family, is where? There we go.
There you go.
Yeah. This one I just came out about a year ago, a little bit over a year ago. And it's about growing up in the funeral business, which that was my life. And if anybody wants to check it out, it's on Amazon right now, and there are a lot of cool stories. And I met up with one of the guys that made Final Destination. And
oh wow, nice.
He was telling me, like, him and also the composer from Killer Clowns from Outer Space, they're both
nice. Yes, love him.
No, he's an awesome guy.
Oh yeah.
But they're like, you should think about adapting this into a movie. And
that'd be pretty badass.
If all goes well on this one, that might be a possibility.
Awesome. Definitely would love to see that come to life as well. And let's let everybody out there in Morgrot universe to know where they can find you and track all of your progress in your journey.
For sure. Ronnie Angel on Facebook. That's where I'm the most active. Hey, that's where I met you too.
I'm everywhere.
Yeah. I got that. And I also have the Instagram. I believe it's Ronnie Angel 4. I don't know who these other 3 ones are, but fuck them.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't even know who they are. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, those are the 2 main ones that I have. And then
Okay.
of course, my books on Amazon, and then the Indiegogo campaign. And yeah, those are pretty much the ways to find me, and I'm very responsive to everybody.
Awesome. Always humble as fuck as we are in the world of indie film and all of great underground entertainment. It has been an absolute pleasure having you on the show tonight. And
Likewise.
yeah, absolutely, man. And we'll definitely have you back on as things start to kind of cook up and get ready for any kind of releases that you have coming out in the near future. For everybody, all the demons out there that have shown up for you tonight, what is your lasting message for them?
Oh, I've just got to say, hey, keep it spooky. On the first books that I wrote about slasher films, I would always write, "Stay slashy, my friends."
There you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, and
you
I
know,
hope that you get a chance to check out some of my stuff.
hell yeah, absolutely. Is there anywhere that all of my viewers out there can find some of your work?
Yes. Like I said, the books are on Amazon right now,
Mm-hmm.
and there's also they've got a bunch of movies on Tubi right now that you could check out.
Nice.
One in particular, Broken City, has got a lot of good reviews, and like I just think it's so cool when people bring that up to me.
Hell
So
yeah.
yeah. So I'm definitely around, and I'm very responsive to everybody, and just hey man, I love horror. Horror is my life.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ronnie. It has been a pleasure having you on the Underground tonight. Thank
Thank you.
you to everybody out there in the Morgrot universe that has tuned in tonight for this brilliant young man. And definitely stay tuned for tomorrow night as the Horror Barbecue returns at 8 p.m. CST. So definitely tune in for that, as well as the goddamn program this Saturday night. It's going to be a stacked weekend live from the Memphis Monster Con. And if you're in or around the Memphis area, come out and see me. And let's hang out. Let's have a good time. As always, as you're getting ready to move into the first day of the weekend and you can give the boss the double birds, always stay heavy.
Thank you for joining us on Reapers Underground. Stay tuned for more from Morgrot Entertainment in association with Black Flame Entertainment.